What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another 5-9 Gaming directed video. My name is Tallen, and today we're going to be going over most of the details for the second day of the Tokyo Game Show 2021. But before that, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that sub button if you happen to be new to the channel. Leave a like on the video if you happen to enjoy the content here, and leave a comment down below about what you're most excited for, or what you've been most impressed about when it comes to the Tokyo Game Show, or maybe if you're a little unimpressed and maybe you wanted to see something else, let us know all your thoughts down below in the comments. So, like I said before, though, we're not gonna be able to go over every little thing, but regardless, let's get into some of the big and the hype and the juicy stuff, because there's some good stuff in here that was actually, we kind of knew about already, but we got to see a little bit more detail about and everything like that. And obviously it's always cool to see stuff from like Square Enix and everything like that. There's a couple of stuff we won't be talking about because well, yeah, we're not going to mention that kind of stuff. So anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, to start things off, let's just get right into the big one, Square Enix. Square Enix was today's big presentation in terms of the, any kind of developers or anything like that. We're going to show things off. I originally thought maybe it would have been Bandai, but Bandai, yeah, you really dropped the ball hard this year. Didn't have anything this year to show off a Tokyo Game Show, man. I don't know. That's a little weird in my personal opinion, but regardless, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and just go into, we're not going in order here or anything like that, but let's just go straight into the Square Enix stuff, because again, that's what most people, I think, came for. Then we'll jump into a few other things from like 505 games and things like that. So first off, when Square Enix started, the guy came out and directly said, look, we already said back in July that we're not going to be having any new information on Final Fantasy 16, and that's exactly what happened. He just came out and he said, yeah, guess what? No Final Fantasy 16 information. So I saw the live chat just go crazy, which I have to say, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, half of these events sometimes, just because you've seen something from another, presentation, whether it's a Sony or Nintendo one, this is their chance, especially for something like Square Enix or something like that, to show off those games again to people who potentially didn't see those presentations or anything. So that's why they do this, just because they have the same game. I mean, it's the same thing you see with E3 and everything, right? E3, you have multiple different presentations from multiple different companies and everything, and half of them are showing off the same stuff. They try to diversify themselves by showing off unique things, like, so obviously Nintendo's going to show off its Nintendo stuff, Sony's going to show off its, IPs and everything like that, etc., etc. But for these, particular types of companies and everything, most of their games go to all platforms. So they're just going to show that off. So anyone who's saying there's nothing new, it's like, well, that's because this is everything they're working on. So try to keep that in mind when you're watching these live streams and everything. But regardless, let's just get right into the information. So first off, after that, after just basically saying, no Final Fantasy 16 stuff, we went straight into Forspoken. Now, if you happen to have seen the Sony presentation, not for Tokyo Game Show, but a few weeks ago, on their own, they streamed it themselves and everything like that. Forsaken, been playing too much Destiny too. Forspoken is a brand new IP from the guys over here at Square Enix, and basically it's pretty much the exact same trailer that you saw from the Sony room and everything like that, but regardless, it still looks really cool. A lot of cool gameplay and everything like that. A lot of people are still hyped about this game. It seems to be coming out in 2022 sometime. We don't know an exact date yet, and obviously with the pandemic still and everything, that means it's probably going to get pushed back potentially. But regardless, it definitely looks really nice and everything like that, but it will be appearing sometime in the spring according to them, but again, I'm not too sure on that one. And it'll be on PC and PlayStation 5, so definitely keep that in mind if you happen to like something like that. Going on to the next one, though, is definitely going to be the Triangle Strategy. And this one, I could definitely feel a lot of people going like, we just saw this. Yes, we did, from the Nintendo Direct, right? So again, Square Enix is making the game, so they're going to show off the games that they're making. They don't have anything that like only Square Enix is releasing, and it's not going on to these platforms, right? It's going on to these platforms. But for Triangle Strategy, this is going on to the Switch. So this is looking to have some kind of March 2022 release. Again, things could get pushed back, but regardless, if you're interested in this type of thing, this was the next little announcement that they had. Moving on from there, though, they had the ActRaiser Renaissance, which is actually out now on PC and mobile mostly. So if you're into that kind of game as well, that was definitely shown off, which is pretty cool for those who like that type of thing. Next, going on, they also went over a few extra demos that they had for other RPG games that are coming out or just about to release here and everything. So again, if you want to catch all of those, just click the link down in the description below. It'll take you right to everything to show you every little itty bitty detail that was released during the Tokyo Game Show. Next big one though, which was kind of cool, was the Life is Strange games. The one thing about the Tokyo Game Show as well that I forgot to mention is that sometimes some of these games are not out in Japan sometimes, or if they are, they don't have full Japanese support and everything in terms of voice actors and everything. So what they will do sometimes is, because again, this is broadcast here in Japan, and I know to the world as well, but it's also broadcast in Japan, to say like, hey, if you want full Japanese voice acting and everything, this game is getting it. So it is a big deal out here. So they did that here for these next two titles right here that you're currently seeing on the screen right now, which is pretty cool. So the fact that they went in, did the time to record all that and everything is really nice to see for those people who want that kind of immersion and everything. Again, it'd be the exact same opposite, right? I mean, everyone always freaks out when a game comes out and it's all subbed and everything in English and it's Japanese dub voices, right? It's the exact same thing. So this is great that those who live here in Japan and only speak Japanese are able to get that. So I always thought that was really cool. So moving on from there though, obviously was Guardians of the Galaxy. We've seen this game advertised quite a bit back in E3, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show now. I mean, the game comes out this month, so you know, it's to be expected. Make sure to also keep it locked here to a 5.9 directive for that though, because we will be reviewing that game near the end of the month when it comes out. So we'll have to wait and see if it's more hype, or is it gonna flop like other games in that kind of area and everything. Marvel's Avengers, you know, it is what it is, unfortunately, right? Moving on from there, though, was a mobile game that actually we here on 5.9 got to play a little bit, and that is Final Fantasy VII First Class, or First Soldier Class, however, whatever they're eventually going to call it in the end. You know, they have the First Soldier Class title right now, but sometimes they change it. But regardless, this was showing off more of the classes and everything for this mobile-only title, which is a little disappointing. I mean, it's a battle royale, basically, on a mobile device, which I get it. Mobile devices are pretty strong and everything like that. It's going to be free to play, obviously, with purchases. Is it going to be free to play? Really? Is it really going to focus on more of a pay to win type of aspect? We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. You know, regardless, it kind of sucks though that maybe it won't be coming out to other platforms and everything. Maybe eventually we will see it on like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Can the Switch could probably handle. I mean, if a mobile device can, but then again, some mobile devices are stronger than the Switch. I wouldn't be surprised. I had to look into the technical status of a lot of that type of stuff. But regardless, you know, maybe it also comes out on Xbox and everything like that. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. But if you're into that type of thing, then that game is going to be coming out sometime here in 2021, which we don't have much time left. It's officially October now. So that means it's very, very close. So keep an eye out for that if you happen to be into that type of thing. So, and then going on from there, they also had things like the Chocobo Grand Prix game that's just literally just shown again on the Nintendo Direct. So it's the exact same trailer, nothing new, literally. So if you're into that type of thing though, it should be interesting though, because again, it's basically Mario Kart or for Final Fantasy. We'll have to wait and see though. And then finally going on from there, which is one of the big ones, was Stranger of Paradise, which is the Final Fantasy Origins game. And this definitely had an amazing trailer. Got a lot of Final Fantasy 15 vibes from it, especially though, because of, you know, it's got the 4 characters. You got a king asking them to do something. And, you know, it looks really pretty, looks really amazing and everything in terms of graphics and visuals and everything. We'll have to see how the gameplay turns out and everything. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 for the most part was, most people seem to have liked the combat and everything in there. So we'll have to see if they took a lot of inspiration from that and have put it into this game. Was not really sure. But regardless, it definitely looks really cool. This one is going to be coming out, though, on the 18th of March next year. So rapidly approaching very soon. So that's definitely really nice and something to have right there. So another thing to also note is that Team Ninja is also helping out with this game. So this would be pretty interesting to see if they have maybe lent themselves to help out with the combat and everything. But regardless, it's, you know, it is what it is. So other than that, though, that's basically it from the guys over at Square Enix. So let's go ahead and move on over to the 505 games. Going back in time now, actually, because this was actually before the Square Enix one. But again, a lot of people mostly came for the Square Enix presentation. This next presentation was from a 505 games, and it was just showing off a bunch of little games, which a lot of them actually do look pretty cool. But it was a chance for kind of smaller developers and everything to show off a lot of these little games that are going to be coming out between this year and next year. And so up on the screen right now, you're currently seeing the majority of those titles that they were able to show off and everything. A lot of it was kind of like developer commentaries and everything like that. There was no English subtitles and anything. I believe there was an English version of the stream where someone was trying to live translate, but as someone who actually can speak some Japanese, I can tell you right now, trying to live translate something like that is extremely hard unless you know exactly what's already happening. So I feel like the person that they gave that to was like, hey, you know some Japanese, right? live translate this for somebody, you know, and they're just like, sure, yeah. So it's definitely hard. So I do not, you know, fault them for any mistakes that was potentially in there, or how slow potentially, because I saw a lot of people in the chat talking about that. But regardless, let's just quickly go over the games that are going to be coming out from 505 Games. So they talked about Grow, Song of Evertree. Looks amazing, looks very beautiful and everything. Definitely props to that right there. Some other games that were shown off were the Unturned, then we had Re-Legend, and also Rescue Party Live. Rescue Party Live was definitely interesting. I'd see it doing very well in Japan actually, and I would be curious to know if it actually does come out abroad and everything, because when I saw that game, I'm like, this just screams like Japan only release for some reason. I don't know if it is, we'll have to wait and see. But regardless, that's kind of how I looked at it right there. And then another one was the Euden Chronicles, and also that version of the game, but Rising, which is being made by, I think it's Robo Monkey or something like that. Text up on the screen for exactly who's making that. But regardless, those games all looked very nice and everything, very beautiful, a lot of work, a lot of love put into them and everything like that. So it's definitely cool for them to see and get their spotlight right there. But regardless, it was very nice. Finally, the last thing to talk about when it came to the second day here at the Tokyo Game Show is, of course, the Megaton Musashi game, which is coming from the Megaton Labs here in Japan. Level 5, I believe, is the technical name of the developer slash publisher. But they literally spent an entire hour talking about this game. I have absolutely no idea exactly what it's supposed to be, aside from it's combining with an anime actually here in Japan. And it just basically looks like your typical Japanese RPG type of thing. But you know, if you're into that, I'll leave a link down below. You can go and check it out and for more details and everything. They didn't really give much like in-depth detail. They kind of just, you know, like they had voice actors come out and talk about their experiences recording the anime for half of this presentation. So yeah, not much to really go off of there. You know, it's like, hey, you're talking about the anime, but we want to more of the game. But regardless, it is what it is. So, but other than that though, that's basically what was shown off there. And with that, guys, that's basically going to wrap it up for the end of the second day for the Tokyo Game Show here. There's also supposed to be a presentation from Sega slash Atlas, but it's basically a mobile game. It's supposed to show off this brand new RPG when everyone saw the preview trailer, you know, a couple weeks ago and everything, and then everyone figured out, oh, it's a mobile game. So nobody particularly cared about it. So 599 Mobile might be covering that. We're not really sure, but keep an eye out over there if you want to as well. They might be able to cover the game. But other than that, that's basically it for everything major here for the second day of the Tokyo Game Show. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are you, you know, excited for stuff that's coming out from these particular types of developers? Are you, you know, just kind of let down? You're not really sure. I mean, you have to keep in mind a lot of games have definitely been put on hold, or, you know, they're taking a lot longer to make simply because of the pandemic and everything. Hopefully next year, the Tokyo Game Show will be in person. I hope to personally go there to the Tokyo Dome where it's held every year usually, and, you know, get a ton of in-person recordings, maybe try to get some interviews and everything. We'll have to let you know if it's even possible by next year. But regardless, if you want to help us reach that goal though, make sure you smash that sub button right now. Leave a like on this video as well. And again, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments as always. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it here from 599 Gaming Direct. I've been Tallen, and we'll see you all in the next one. Johnny.